Hello and welcome to The Critique. Today we're looking at a commentary script from the Storybox that dives into the feud between Candace Owens and Dave Rubin.
It is, yeah. It's a messy one. You've got anti-Semitism, grooming claims, defamation.
All of it, and it's great material. But this script, it has a hurdle to clear right away. I mean, it's operating more like a fan's defense than a real critical breakdown.
Okay, I see that. But is that necessarily a bad thing? I mean, isn't fan defense its own genre? The narrator's clearly angry for Rubin. If the audience is also Team Rubin, that anger can build a real connection, can it?
It can, but only with people who already agree with you. And that's the trap. If the goal is to dismantle Owens' arguments for a broader audience, that anger is a liability. Which brings us to our first point, really. It's about emotional distance and editorial authority.
You're talking about the name-calling.
I am. The narration it slips from analysis into personal attacks. We're hearing things like Cancer Owens, Candy, scumbag.
Nutjob, filth, yeah.
It's visceral, sure, but it completely undermines the argument's credibility. The narrator becomes a participant, not an observer.
So it's about trust. If I think you're just blinded by rage, I'm not going to trust your version of the facts.
Exactly. You got it. And there's another level to this. The script says Rubin's claims are 100% true, while just dismissing Owens out of hand. It creates this kind of white knight effect.
So by defending Rubin so hard, you almost make him look weaker.
Right. Like his case can't stand on its own. So the suggestion here is to adopt a more detached, I say journalistic tone. Let her own words do the damage. It's actually way more lethal.
Lethal is good. So give me an example. How do we swap out the hot language for that colder approach?
Okay, take the part about the young Christian male she claims he hired. Right now, the script just calls her a lying scumbag before you even know what she said.
Which tells the audience how to feel.
Yes. Instead, just quote her tweet. Read her exact words about the overbearing Christian parents, the gay couple in Miami, the NDA. Put it out there. The audience can see the malice in that level of detail. You don't have to call her a scumbag.
You're showing instead of telling. You let the audience feel like they're the one making the judgment.
There's no better critique than a direct quote in context. And look at the Ivanka story. The script says she makes up crap for the sake of it. It's so dismissive.
But if the writer thinks she is making it up?
Because making it up is your claim. A contradiction is a fact. Juxtapose Rubin's account that she ranted for an hour against her text claiming it was a sensible opinion. Just highlight that gap.
So these two realities cannot coexist.
That hits harder. It forces the listener to decide, and that's engagement. Now, even if we fix the tone, we've got a big structural problem. The flow is chaotic.
Chaotic is being polite. I felt like I was in a pinball machine. Charlie Kirk, Hawaii, the World Trade Center, all in under a minute.
It's the Twitter feed trap. The script just reads like a timeline, bouncing from Insurrection Barbie to Nick Fuentes to grooming.
Well, to be fair, isn't that how these things actually play out? A constant barrage. Maybe the chaos is meant to reflect the reality of it.
It reflects the feed, maybe, but not the story. If you want the audience to understand the gravity of these things, you can't just throw them all in a blender. A grooming accusation is a potential felony.
And the JFK stuff is just noise in comparison.
Exactly. When you sandwich the felony between conspiracy theories, you dilute the impact of everything. So you have to unscramble it. You organize by theme, not chronology.
Okay, so like chapters.
Exactly. Like 3 distinct buckets. First, Section A, the anti-Semitism narrative.
So all the Christ is King, Synagogue of Satan, that whole thing goes there?
All of it. Nick Fuentes, 9/11 revisionism, the brain rot. Put it all in one container so the listener sees the full ideological shift. Analyze it, then close that chapter.
Okay, that sets the stage. What's bucket number 2?
Section B, the personal escalation. This is the tit for tat. Rubin's story about that 2022 dinner goes here, right up against her story about the Miami employee and, the night in Hawaii with Peter Thiel.
Separating the political from the personal. Makes sense.
And it builds suspense for the final bucket, Section C, the trafficking insinuation. The allegations about Erica Kirk and human trafficking, they need to be treated as the final, dark escalation.
Don't weave it in earlier?
No. Isolated at the end, it creates a narrative arc. Ideology, then personal betrayal, then criminal allegations. It turns a rant into, a documentary structure.
Which clarifies the stakes. And speaking of stakes, we need to talk about how the script handles the truth.
Right. The whole he said, she said problem. The narrator basically treats Dave Rubin's word as gospel.
And Charlie Kirk's, it says, what they said is 100% true, but with no external proof, while everything Owens says is just sheer fiction.
Yeah, and I'll play devil's advocate here for a second. Candace Owens. I mean, she has a track record, right? Let's say a flexible relationship with the truth. If the writer knows she's a liar, why pretend to be neutral?
I get that, but identifying a pattern of dishonesty is one thing. Dismissing a specific detailed allegation just because of who said it's a logical fallacy. It convinces the choir, but you lose any skeptic.
So how do you handle a lie if you can't prove it's a lie?
You analyze the strategy behind the claim, not just its truth. Treat every unverified claim with equal skepticism. Look at the grooming accusation.
The young Christian male in Miami.
Yeah? She admits she knew this kid. She gives all these details. The overbearing Christian parents, the move to Miami. Instead of just shouting she's lying, analyze the text itself. Why those details?
It's a calculated narrative weapon.
It is. It's the mutually assured destruction angle. She's deploying specific scenarios that are incredibly hard to disprove without dragging private people into it. That's a much smarter analysis than just, oh, she's crazy.
And the Hawaii comment about Peter Thiel, the script just dismisses it as perversion.
It did feel like a throwaway line.
But it might not be. Is it a dog whistle? Why link Thiel to perversion in Hawaii specifically? Analyzing the implication is so much more interesting.
It shifts the narrator from being a defense attorney for Rubin to being an analyst of political warfare.
Which is a much stronger position to be in. You want to be the one explaining the game, not just shouting from the stands. And that leads right into the final point, maybe the most critical one, the conclusion.
Ah, the Dave mate please sue her part.
It devolves. The narrator is literally begging Dave, mate, please, for the love of God, for Rubin to sue for defamation.
I have to admit, it felt a bit desperate. It turns the piece from commentary into, like, fan activism.
It does, and it completely oversimplifies the legal reality. The emotional plea just detracts from the analytical value. It misses a huge opportunity to actually educate the audience.
But people love the idea of a lawsuit. It feels like justice. So why is calling for it a bad ending?
Because calling for this cheap, explaining it is valuable. So the suggestion is, replace the pleading with a sober analysis of the legal stakes. Explain to the audience what actual malice even is.
Which is a really high legal bar, right?
Incredibly high. For a public figure like Rubin to win, he has to prove she knew it was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth.
So the narrator could pivot and analyze if terms like groomer or trafficking would be seen as facts or just, rhetorical hyperbole.
Now that is content people would subscribe for. Is this like the Tucker Carlson case, where they argued it's just non-literal commentary? That's a fascinating question.
And what about the strategy? If Rubin sues, doesn't that open him up to discovery?
Huge point. He'd have to turn over emails, texts, everything. Do you really want her lawyers digging through your entire life? Discussing that dilemma is so much more engaging than just begging.
It turns the end into a strategic cliffhanger instead of a prayer. Speaking of, in the source notes, I saw a mention of a Baron Coleman lead.
The explosive lead? Yeah, the narrator mentions getting a lead about this guy, Baron Coleman, and then just drops it to go back to the lawsuit plea.
That felt like journalistic malpractice. You have a scoop and you just bury it?
It's the perfect alternative ending. So the concrete example here is, don't beg, tease. End the video by saying something like, we've received leads about a connection to Baron Coleman that we are currently verifying. This story is far from over.
Hook, line, and sink. That changes the dynamic completely. It's not, I hope Dave does something. It's, I am doing something.
It empowers the creator. It says, I am an investigator, not just a consumer of drama.
So, to pull it all together, we're taking a piece with a lot of passion and energy.
But it's firing blindly.
And we're giving it a scope and a target.
Right. We're sharpening the blade.
So, let's recap. First, the tone. Get rid of the insults. Let their own words do the work.
Second, structure. Bucket the content. Ideology, personal attacks, criminal allegations. Give the big moments room to land.
Third, truth. Stop taking sides. Analyze the strategy of the claim. Be the war correspondent, not the cheerleader. And finally, the ending. Drop the begging. Give us a legal reality check on actual malice. Or even better, tease that Baron Coleman scoop. Make the viewer feel smarter for watching.
That's the transformation. From a fan rant to a documentary breakdown.
I'd really love to see the version of this script where that Baron Coleman tease actually pays off. It feels like there's a real journalist in there trying to get out.
I completely agree, and we want to see that version too. So, to our listener, take this feedback, rework the script, and send us the update. Or, if you chase down that lead, send us the script for that video.
Now that's the one I want to read.
Thanks for listening to The Critique. Keep digging, keep writing, and we'll see you next time.